Well, first of all, I think that it's important to note that a number of the parishes that were closed, they maintained that they had financial resources. But secondly, we are prepared in fitting ways to assist them as they begin also. So, I mean, we're not unaware that there will be challenges, but ultimately it is their responsibility, as it is for the 174 parishes that are now functioning.
You said another challenge was staffing. Do you know the time frame on when you would have churches fully staffed?
Well, I certainly hope it's sooner than later. And there was an important meeting yesterday where a number of priests' names were surfaced, and I will be reviewing that list and see who will be available, to assist us in this important work.
You said that there was a fewer amount of priests. Is that a concern going into this, and how would you address that?
Well, we may well be asking some priests to do 2 jobs.
How soon can you reopen? How quickly are you guesstimating this could happen?
No, I'm not going to speculate. Once I speculate, people want to hold me to that. No, I'm not going to go that way. I'm not going that route.
Bishop, these all challenged parishes that went to Rome, have you reopened all of them?
The list, excuse.
The numbers, sir.
There were 13. Are you saying that all 13 will be open, or are there some that have been left off the reopening?
Back on the 7th of March, this story about the decrees became public. At that time, it was said that there were 13 decrees. And that number has remained out there. If you recall, the diocese didn't say a word because I wanted to see the official documents. This was reported of coming from Rome to a person in Boston who gave the story that there were 3 decrees that he had seen and there were 10 more. On the 14th of March, I got the official letter from the Holy See. There are only 12. I named the 12 a few moments ago. There are not 13. In that same letter, there were 14 others that were not accepted. I am not going to read those names. But there were 12.
You get to the point where the 174 that are open are subsidizing these others, and when do you say you're not cutting it for that?
Well, first of all, the diocese does not subsidize the parishes. I think it's important to note that from the time I came here to Cleveland, which is just a month shy of 6 years, from then until February of 2009, there were 7 parishes that closed, and 3 parishes became 1, and 2 became 1 because of financial considerations, that they actually came to me and said, we can no longer pay our bills. So that has been the process here in the Diocese of Cleveland that predates my time. It was what my 2 predecessors also handled the situation of parishes. So at this point, there's no talk of a subsidy for parishes. The diocese does not have the financial wherewithal to embark upon a program that ambitious.
Bishop, was there disagreement between the group as far as making this decision, and when did you ultimately decide that, you know what, this is what I want to do?
I think it was the Tuesday or Wednesday after Easter. I realized that many people would have liked, for what I was saying and opening the parishes before Easter. Those things were not going to happen. I did not see the list until the 14th. What was reported was inaccurate. I did not in any way at all contributed to the inaccuracy. I've never said the number 13. So therefore, it took a while before I actually, was able to come to a decision after I, sought counsel.
Bishop, is St. Peter's a special case because they're worshiping elsewhere outside of the embrace of the Catholic Church?
As I indicated, all of the cases have their own uniqueness. You have identified one of the parishes that, in a very tangible way, is unique. The other 11 parishes, none of them continued on in any way, shape, or form. And you're correct in saying that St. Peter's, a part of the community, continued on. And as we talk with, as I said in here, that I will be working with the priests and the parishioners, that will be a conversation that I will have with the people at St. Peter's.
When you said that the 12 parishes have to have, membership and finances going forward, will you revisit closing them possibly in 3 years or 4 years?
I'm not speculating. I'm not speculating. We are hopeful that what Rome has asked will be achieved. I'm not going to talk out of both sides of my mouth. I refuse to do that.
Bishop, obviously you can't have a hard and fast timetable, but the process, are we talking weeks, months, a year?
Well, it won't be a year. It won't be a year. I mean, could it be a couple of months? Yes, it could. It could be.
I was looking for that general.
But again, all I said is it could be. I didn't say it will be. Okay? I mean, for everyone's sake, we would like to, to have it start. And we're not trying to dilly-dally, but we do have to do it right. If we don't do it right, we could very well be blamed for not cooperating.
Will you be meeting with representative groups or the remnants of parish councils, or how will they be integrated into your plan?
It will be on a case-by-case, situation. I mean, because what has happened following the closures of the parishes, the different groups have done it different ways. And so, I mean, it will be, finding the folk and having a conversation.
Some of the buildings, Bishop, have extensive repairs, and will that be the burden of the parish? Want to begin
The questions about repairs. One of the parishes, before it closed, it had known it had roof problems, and with my giving the okay, because they were still having mass there, the diocese spent close to $250,000 to fix the roof. It was a safety issue, So I mean, we're certainly not going to put people in harm's way. If there are substantial needs, we'll have to look at each one of them.
Can you tell us what the next step is in this? Now, when you leave here today, what will your next step be?
There'll be two things. One will be an evaluation of the 12 parishes and to look at them as to in what order we may begin to, go forward with them. The other thing will be to get a full report from the meeting that happened yesterday, where certain priest names were identified for my consideration.
You mentioned the possibility of priests doing additional jobs. Can you at least, maybe being over 2 congregations, can you talk about how that decision will be made based on congregation size, distance?
It basically will be when you're dealing with, those questions. I mean, it becomes a personnel issue that I will be dealing with. I'm certainly open to suggestions, but it's only suggestions. I mean, it will be decided by myself based upon what I know about the priests, their abilities, and so on and so forth. I mean, we have very generous priests. And so I'm confident that we'll be able to do this, but it does take some discernment on their part and on mine.
So the congregation, could they have any input in that?
I would think that I'm going to have to identify a priest leader first before the congregation actually comes together. Because I need a leader on the local scene.
Bishop, can I ask, how do you personally feel about this? Do you feel good about this decision to reopen the churches, or do you feel like it's been taken out of your hands by Rome?
I certainly had options to pursue appeal or recourse. What I said, I meant that, peace be with you, and now is the time to aim for peace and unity within our Catholic family. To prolong this with people not feeling, they're at home in any parish community is not a desired effect. So in that sense, my hope is that people will get into the reopening of these parishes and will take it forward.